Today's education news. The NEU is to hold an indicative strike ballot over insulting pay rise. Yes, members of the union will be balloted on their willingness to take industrial action if ministers do not commit to a significant and fully funded increase beyond what has already been proposed. So what has been proposed is that the DfE told the STRB that a 2.8% pay award would be appropriate for 2025-26, but that most schools would have to find efficiencies to fund it, which has led the General Secretary, Daniel Kabidi, to say that that proposal of 2.8 is not sufficient to even start to address the crisis in recruitment and retention. And that the suggestion that this unfunded pay award can be paid by making efficiencies is an insult to the profession, who've already endured 14 years of austerity. I have to agree. The thing that really worries me is that schools are already really struggling to make ends meet and have been for ages. And I don't see a massive investment coming into education. So to then expect schools to cut back to then pay for this 2.8% pay rise is only going to lead to teachers expected to do more with less. That's what Kabidi said here, that to make efficiencies, that's not going to be able to happen without cutting staff or resources or both. Now, in the budget in October, it was announced that there was an extra 1.3 billion being added to schools funding, which at the time I looked at it going, is that going to be enough when we're faced with so many issues? Just think about the significant amount of investment what we need to address some of the SEND issues, the SEND crisis affecting so many schools. So to now think that's got to cover the 2.8% pay award, it's just not going to be enough. And yes, let's not forget that the government did award a pay rise of 5.5% and 6.5% last year, but the IFS have estimated that even after this year's pay rise, pay of experienced teachers, which, there's not that many nowadays given the way teaching is, will still be around 9% lower in real terms than 2010. I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments if you think this is the right move from the union and what you will be doing in that ballot. But for me, I think pay is obviously still really important, but even if you did increase the pay to where it needs to be, I don't think it's going to address the retention crisis. What needs to happen are serious conversations and things happening to reduce workload. Do you want to improve retention? Actually reform Ofsted. Hold Ofsted to account. Have an independent complaints process for Ofsted would be a good start. Actually put things in place that are going to relieve some of that pressure and scrutiny and workload on teachers. Because if you ask teachers who are considering leaving the profession why, it won't be pay anywhere near enough of working in that toxic education system that is making teachers feel like complete and utter failures, where they just feel like they're never good enough at what they do, and no matter how hard they try, they're never able to give the adequate support for some of the students in their class because the system is broken. That needs fixing. Teachers need to be trusted, and we need to actually do something to reduce workload.